I think I've got to put speaker view on. Whoops. Welcome everyone. Oh, no, I don't think I can do that. Um, Welcome everyone to our Monday night training. Today we're going to be going through some more of the DOD highlights. I thought I would focus specifically on a couple of things that I really enjoyed as I was going through it. Last week we did the updates, which is always the exciting thing as well. So the Cephii star was covered and quite a few, the frequency claims. But I think most of you have been across that, so I don't think I'll spend too much time on that tonight. However, I did want to take you through a little bit of Kai's presentation, and then I'd also like to jump into some of Julie Tibble's, who shared a bit about how she runs her AO scan, how she works with clients. I found that quite interesting because it mirrored a lot about the way that I do my client intakes and those types of things. So what we're actually going to do tonight is I'm going to get you guys to do a client intake on yourself. So I'll go through and we will do that. But first of all, I'm going to share with you some different books actually. So Kai did a presentation. Kai is our CEO, and he did a presentation on simplifying things. I think sometimes when it comes to the AO scan, we can get a little bit overwhelmed and we can, I guess, overcomplicate things. So the takeaways that I had from his talk was really to bring it back down and simplify. And one of the key things that he said was being able to write out your business in a one-page plan, like to literally write out what you do and who you're for and all of those things and just put it on one page. And I'm actually in the process of doing that. But it also made me take a look at the systems. Now we are very blessed because we have a website that Beck has beautifully put together. And that has a lot of the systems that he was talking about in this. So the onboarding process and signing someone up and all of those things. So Beck has actually streamlined those for us. And if you haven't seen that, then the website is the Frequency Soul Collective. And I will have to check about the logins for that again, Beck, because I always forget them. But anyway, hey, Ali, welcome. Yeah, so we've just started and we're just diving into Kai's presentation. He ran through the books really quickly. So I have this little handout that I will send through, but these were the books that he recommended. And I'm just going to take you through one by one and I guess how they're relevant to us and our businesses and, what we could be doing to kind of work with that. So let me just have a quick look. All right, Ali, can you tell me what the first one is?
The E-Myth.
Yeah, cool. Okay, because I uploaded them differently to the thing. All right, so the E-Myth. E-Myth might be one that you have heard of before. I certainly have. This one is basically explaining about why most small businesses fail. So it's the idea is that people become technicians in their business instead of working on their business, they're working in their business and therefore lose sight of the, I guess, goal or the vision because they're too busy, in our example, it would be someone who loves scanning people, but we might only focus on doing the scans instead of actually building the systems that will help to grow the business. So in his book, he's explaining that every successful business has three roles. We have the technician, so that would be us, like scanning, the practitioner. We have the manager, so that's about the organizing of the systems, but then we have the entrepreneur. And it's really important to still have that creation of vision and growth as well. So we might get a bit stuck in that operating as a technician. Most of us love that space. We love that transformation. But sometimes we need to step out of that role and move into that more, looking at the onboarding processes, simple follow-up systems, team training frameworks, repeatable scan packages, that type of thing. So the lesson in this is to build simple, repeatable systems so that the business can grow without chaos. And I think that was a really, really good one. What's the next one, Ellie, on the screen there?
What's the next one? Oh God, essence.
Essentialism.
Yeah,
Okay.
expansionism.
So this one's from Greg McCown. Now I'm actually McEwen, I think maybe. I'm actually going to go back and put all of these on my Audible list, and at least in my I think it is a favorites one or a you know ones that you want to get kind of thing wish list. Just so when I don't think I could hit them all at one time because I think my brain would explode. But scatter them in there with all the other reading that you're doing. Because I tend to do growth stuff and all the things, all a bit more spiritual stuff. But if you chuck a few of these business ones in, I think that's really great to keep you focused on that as well. So essentialism. This one is about identifying what is truly essential and eliminating everything else. So it's coming back to that less is better. And instead of trying to do everything, you deliberately choose a few things that matter the most.
I
Um,
love
so
that.
yeah, it's good. Hey, so entrepreneurs often say yes to too many things. Huh, I don't know anyone like that. Too many marketing strategies, too many products, too many projects, too many distractions. So this can spread you too thin. So this is teaching people about going to the core of the mission. So for your AO scan business, it might be helping people improve their health. Is that what your core mission is? Is it running the scans? Is it sharing results? Is it building relationships? And I'd say it's pretty much all of those things, right? So helping people improve their health, running their scans, sharing their results, and building relationships. So the lesson from this book, the simplification lesson, is that success comes from focus and clarity and not from doing more, which I love. So that's
Definitely.
the message from essentialism. What's the next one?
Big trust.
Big trust. This was cool. And we might, if we have time, he actually shared that there's a little bit of a quiz in there. So I thought we could go through and do that if you guys are all on a computer. So this was from Dr. Shadi Zarai. Don't get me to say that again.
Yeah.
But this is actually focuses on building self-trust and confidence so that you can take action without constantly doubting yourself. So it is a bit more of a self-help-ish kind of book rather than necessarily business. But the idea is that when you have that intrinsic self-trust, that you won't, that you can make decisions and you can move forward in your business. So it's teaching how to quiet the self-doubt, take decisive action, and to stop overthinking, and also to trust your own judgment. So how it could apply to us is, I think particularly when we get started, we will think, what if what I'm saying is wrong? What if I get it wrong? What if people don't understand the scan? And what if I'm not ready? And I can really relate to that. I tend to be a bit of a trial and error person. So when I first started, I just jumped on Facebook and offered it to everyone. And we were in lockdown. So everyone said yes. And I just ran scans. I didn't know how to read them. I had no freaking clue. And I just sent them out to people. And then I started getting people coming back one by one going, oh my God, this is what my blood said last week. And this is so I had no idea how to read them, but somehow the people did. And what resonated or what they needed to see, they saw in those scans. And I think sometimes we just need to uncomplicate things and just see what people see in it. And if you don't know, ask them, what are you seeing in this? What makes sense to you? Turn it back around. I think that's pretty cool. And you can also say, I don't know, and I'll come back to you. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So when we have this lack of trust, it creates analysis paralysis. And it's teaching people to come trust themselves enough to act, even before they feel perfectly ready. And the lesson in this one is that confidence simplifies business. When you trust yourself, you stop overstudying, over preparing, and overcomplicating the process. So you just share, invite, and help people. Yay! What's the next one?
The 4 hour work week.
Yes. Have you heard of this one before?
No,
Oh, really? It's an
none
old but a
again.
goodie. So this is more about the systems again. So it's teaching how to eliminate unnecessary work, automate your systems, and focus on high impact activities. So he is the big one of the 80/20 rule. So
Oh
80%
yeah.
of the results comes from the 20% of the activities. How this might apply to us is that a lot of the times in the type of business that we've got,
Mhm.
we do things that feel productive that aren't actually growing the business. So this could be endlessly tweaking social media, Guilty. Watching training instead of applying it. And that's why I love to bring some of the training things into actual like action because that's a really big trap that people find, can fall into. So you're watching training all the time and you think that you're in full momentum because you're watching these trainings, but you're not actually putting any of it into action. And then creating complicated systems and learning new strategies every week instead of like doubling down and just applying the strategies that you've got. And, like we said earlier, simplifying and just focusing on that one area. So the real drivers of growth are very simple, talking to people, sharing the scan, inviting people to learn, and supporting your customers. The lesson in this one is to find the few actions that create the most of the results. In an AO scan business, that might be daily conversations, sharing testimonials, running scans, inviting people to events, and everything else is secondary. What's the next one, Ali?
The plan, lean startup.
Cool. Simplify?
Yeah.
Simplify. Okay.
Oh no, simplifies the last one.
Okay. The lean startup?
Yeah.
Is that the next one? Yeah. Okay, cool. So the lean startup is about teaching entrepreneurs to build businesses through experimentation and learning, which I love. I'm a 3-line in human design, so I'm all about the experiment. So trial and error. So his thing is to build, then to measure it, and then to learn from that. So instead of, putting everything into one thing before you've even tested it, he's saying try something small, see what works, and then improve it. Okay.
Yeah.
So why it applies to us, sometimes we get, we want to have the perfect script, the perfect website, the perfect brand, the perfect explanation. And it's just saying, just start simply and improve as you go. So take action and quickly and then iterate rather than overcomplicating things. And then we've got simplify. Is that the last one?
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. And then simplify is it's actually Kai was started out talking about, companies like Apple and IKEA and who else was it? I think he talked about Virgin a little bit too, where they have just really, Tesla as well, like simplified things right down so that they're nice and clean and just minimalist, right? And then people just know exactly what they're getting. And so that's kind of the message of this book. That when you add too much complexity in, that's why a lot of companies fail. So examples of simplification is clearer messaging, fewer products, easier processes, and simple customer experiences. So it's pretty easy for AO Scan to get complicated, for us to overcomplicate it when we're explaining things.
Yeah.
So I loved this insight because it's like, okay, well, how can we simplify it? So it's not as hard as what, because sometimes the more we know, I guess, the more analysis paralysis that comes along with it, right? Because it's like, oh, but then we could talk about that, and then we could talk about that, and then we could talk
Yeah.
about that. So I feel like for us, it's about maybe um, having that simplified way that we explain it, or a simplified checklist or something, that we can just tick off and make it super, super simple and only, 1 or 2 steps instead of it being this and this and this and this. I
Yeah.
feel like when we're onboarding people, if we have team members and things like that, the other person who did a really good talk was, I'm going to forget his name, the marketing guy, Rob.
Robert someone.
Yeah,
Robert
Rob.
George.
And he said the same thing. Like he just
This
said,
was good.
yeah, it was really good. Yeah, just simplifying it down. I've lost my train of thought. But anyway, I think he was speaking about yeah, like having a checklist and stuff and making it really, really, really just simple, instead of overcomplicating it all. And that for me, I was just like, yes, that, and then it also just removes that weight as well. So clarity attracts people is the simplification lesson, and complexity pushes them away. So we need to work out how to simplify. So I think for us, it's talk to people, help people, share what works, and then repeat. And I think over the years, Ali, you'd probably agree that we've tried a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And I think we've done a pretty good job of, narrowing down what works and, maybe not doing the other things that weren't working. But, maybe it's also sometimes we can get into a bit of a rut with that too. So maybe it's about trying those things on the smaller scale, like one of the other people was saying, one of the other books was saying, but then just put it on a small scale. And if it works, then you can expand it out further, before you start to make it all complicated and have all the things and the websites and all of that sort of stuff going. You
Yeah.
just test it first. So that was one of the, yeah. So I really, really enjoyed Kai's talk, and I think we can take a lot out of that. Hey, Karen, you snuck in there. One thing I would like to do quickly if we have time, I think we do. Does everyone have access to their computer at the moment? Awesome. I'm going to send you a quick link. Great. I haven't done this, but this came out of Zendaya, the doctor, whatever, big trust book. And Kai said to do her quiz. So I'm going to put her website in and we're all going to do it quickly. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. Oh, hang on. I'm going to copy it and I'm going to put it in the chat. I'm sorry, this is going to be a little bit boring for anyone who's watching, but you should have come live. Haha. All right. So, oh, my dog's now barking. Okay, so click on that link. Has everyone got the link in the chat? Oh, and Bex beautifully put the Frequency Soul Collective website in there with the password. And there are some amazing streamlined things in there that you can use, that you can access. Okay, so let's all go into this. I'm going to share mine so it's not so boring for the people on the other end who didn't make it live. So we're going to go halfway down the screen and we're going to go to this, unlock what's been holding you back and take the quiz. So it's just her name too, Sade Zarai. Has everybody got access to that? Yep, cool. All right, so let's just step through this quiz. Hopefully it won't take too long, like I said. So mm, I reckon I agree with that. I agree. Find myself seeking approval. Yeah, I'll agree with that. All right. I often feel that people know what they do. Yep. Neutral with that. Hmm. All right. Hmm. Hmm. Ah, I have to send it to you. Of course I do. Okay. So you gotta put your, so it is your doubt profile. And then it's going to give us some insights and tools and updates from this lady. So, I've got a bit of situational doubt. Interesting. So her things are about acceptance, agency, autonomy, and adaptability. And Kai goes into that a bit. as well, which is pretty cool. Anyway, how did you all go with that?
Mine was similar to yours, Paige. Mine was just a little bit more situational.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, cool.
I'm
I think if I wasn't on the spot and everyone looking at my screen, I probably would have considered those answers a little more too, but
Yeah, yeah, fair.
so it might be worthwhile going back and redoing as well if you feel like we rushed through a little bit. But it'll be interesting to see what comes through from that. And I think that's that book I think is would be a good one definitely to have a look at if you feel like
Mm.
yeah. Now, the next thing that I wanted to do as well, I really, really loved um, Julie Tibble's presentations, and she kind of got me thinking. She runs a membership, and I really love that concept where she keeps it simple. I think that's what I liked about it because, we've done many Cefi groups and different things over the years. And one of the things with the Cefi groups is that it's just that continuation, it stops after X number of days, and then, you kind of have to rebuild it all again, which is something that I didn't love doing. Um, and then when I get the inspiration, I love to run the Cefi groups, but there is that stop start with it. Her idea is to have an actual membership. She charges $68 a month and she runs one scan. So she does it through the multi-scan. She runs two Cefis per week. The person can choose what they want at the beginning of the month, and they get that Cefi for the rest of the month. And then she runs an inner voice for them. If she knows they're interactive with the inner voice and are actually using it, she will run them a weekly inner voice, but they have to get their voice to her. She doesn't chase them. And if they want that, otherwise they just get one for the month. And that's it. And she charges $68 for the month. Now, I went back to her because I had questions, of course, and I asked her directly, how long do you run your Cefis for? And she said she runs them for 5 minutes on a Monday
no.
and Friday. That's it. And I'm like, do you see big changes with that? And she said, absolutely, because we're reminding the body that's all we're doing with it. And I'm like, okay. So simple. And she says she's got about 50 people. So if you do the sums on $50, 50 people times $68, it's up there.
And you could add like up to 15 people into that multi-scan
16,
in
16
each
people
group.
into multi-scan and multi-cast.
Cast.
Yeah, which is you'd use both of them.
Yeah.
So really the only labor intensive stuff is the inner voices and checking in that once a month to make sure you know what you're going to do for their
Yeah.
next month.
Yeah.
And then she said she kind of has messages. She does personalized texts mainly, is how she communicates with people. But she does a bulk text out to everyone and then she will reply individually as people start to get back to her. So I'm like, that is super clever. Anyway, what I wanted to share though from her report was, and this is something that I do anyway with my clients, and what we're going to all do tonight, it's a bit of a questionnaire when someone comes to you. So if you're running scans for people, there's some pretty essential information that you want to know. All right. So, and what we're going to do tonight is you're going to actually write down your own answers. Okay. So the first one that I like, so obviously we want to get a picture of a person when they're coming for a scan, and this gives us so many clues and where to go in the consult with them. I'm just going to grab a piece of paper because I'm going to do it with you. Hang on. And I was naughty and didn't bring my piece of paper with me. Okay, so the first one we're going to ask about is sleep. How are you sleeping? And does someone want to do this with me? Someone want to be my person, my client?
I'll be your person.
Okay, how's your sleep, Vic?
My sleep is good.
Is it?
Yes.
Well, you're shit then. You can't be my client. No. My
Well,
sleep is not. Can you be my practitioner? My sleep is
absolutely.
my sleep is
No, well, my only thing is that if I don't take, sleep spray, then I'll wake up at like 3 or something to go to the bathroom. But apart from that, I'm all good.
I have just started and I don't know what's changed. I think it's something in my diet. but my sleep has just reverted to that as well. I was sleeping all the way through and not waking up at that 3 o'clock, and now I'm waking up anywhere between, yeah, like 2 to 3. This morning was 3:45. Thank God, because now I'm not getting back to sleep either. And I used
Oh
to be
no.
good at getting back to sleep, and it's all just gone out the window lately, and I don't know what's changed. So there you go. So that's the first question. So you want to ask if it's getting to sleep or staying asleep, or waking up at a particular time. Now, what the times tell us, and we've got a beautiful resource in our scanner that with the meridians, it tells you what meridian time. So 3:45 for me this morning tells me it's not just a liver issue. There's something around the lung in there. So, and I could start to look into the lung. But 1 to 3 a.m. is liver. Okay. So again, like Bex mentioned, sleep spray is amazing for that. But also for me, I know if I don't get to bed by a certain time, and mine's 9:30, then I don't get to sleep until late. So I miss my window. So, this is all, information, and you'll have your own experiences. I have no pens here. I have a gazillion pens, but I have no pens that work.
You want to borrow one of mine?
Thanks. Yes, please send it through. I've got colored pens. Okay, we're going to do colorful. All right, so the next one. Anyone else want to contribute to the sleep talk? Any comments?
Yeah, I haven't slept properly for years, so I don't think
Yeah.
I have done since a kid. But yeah, no, I don't sleep much, and yeah, really wake up between that 2 to 3:30.
Yeah.
And then the head, as soon as I wake up, the brain wants to start,
So what are the
So
things that we would look at? What are the flags, I guess, for sleep? So for me, it's hormones, it's sleep routine, it's and environment, right? It can also be stress. It can also be liver, so toxicity. It can be, emotions as well, obviously. So they're a massive lot, and nervous system, right? So that's a huge amount of things that you can start being a detective for in your AO scan when you're running those scans, particularly in the vitals, right? Well, vitals and inner voice, I reckon. All right, so that's sleep. The next one is diet. And the way I phrase this is do you have a particular way that you eat? Meaning, are you vegetarian? Are you pescatarian? Are you carnivore? Are you, keto, all of those things, right? So that's my next question to someone. And if so, how long have you been doing that? So say they say, oh, I avoid red meat. It's like, okay, so how long is that? How long have you eaten this way? One of my other food questions is, what is the one thing that you can't go without? What's the thing you're obsessed about? And what's the one thing, and what are the foods that you hate and will not eat? So again, this gives us some really valuable information about the person, because if they're obsessed with bread and pasta and things like that, and then we find out down the track they've got a heap of gut issues, or if they're obsessed with something and then it starts coming up in their scan consistently, then we know that, there's an imbalance there. And often what we're really drawn to and the things that we really hate, there's clues in that, right? And we're looking at that. Cool. Next one is hydration. How much water do you drink daily? Or how much do you try to drink on a daily basis? And then how much do you actually drink? Now, and then it's, that opens the question up for minerals. And, whether, because if someone's drinking an excessive amount of water, then, and still not feeling like they're hydrated, because that's me, then we know there's some issues there, right? And are they having enough minerals and that type of thing? That gives us those clues as well, particularly if it's coming up on their inner voice report that they're not hydrated and they're drinking all of this water. Does that make sense? Yeah, and it could be kidney issues in there, could be all sorts of things related to that. All right, so the next one is social network. So how is your social network? Is it adequate for you? And the reason I ask if it's adequate for you, because some people don't need a lot of people. but some people need a lot of people and they don't have a lot of people. So yeah, everyone's different with how much interaction they need socially, but is this enough for you? Yep. Okay, are we all answering these questions still?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Awesome. All right. Next one is stress levels. Where would you put yourself with your stress levels at the moment on a scale of 1 to 10? So 1 being not stressed at all, 10 being stressed out of my head. Oh, and another one I forgot to ask, which I probably should have asked around diet, was exercise. What exercise are you doing? What do you like to do? How regularly are you doing it? And the reason we ask that is for a lot of reasons, because, you know, different parts of the body might come up, but also it's a massive one for stress. So most people, you know, find that exercise helps reduce their stress. And if they're not exercising, then it can be, you know, have an impact on their mental health as well, potentially. But then if they're over exercising, then that's also a stress to the body as well. Cool. And then energy levels. On a scale of 1 to 10 again, 1 being low and 10 being jumping out of the bed every morning. Mhm. Awesome. And then the other one is, how regularly are you pooing? How's your bowels, love? And if you're anything like me, I actually don't know because I forget whether I've even been that day. So,
So
yeah.
should we ask people about their memory?
Yes, yes, memory's a good one too. Think is a
No,
good
she
one.
forgot.
No, I forgot. That's right, I forgot. See?
Exactly.
Yeah, we could. We could totally. Brain fog, memory. Yeah, absolutely. Um, I think also sometimes asking women about their cycle is helpful as well. Whether there's been any, you know, yeah, whether they've had any issues over the years with that. And of course, then we're going to get a full, you know, like full history. Generally, I ask for an actual, you know, history, whether they're on any medication, whether they take any supplements and all of those sorts of things. But these are the lifestyle questions that I find just give such a massive picture, because when things like hydration come up in the AO scan, or you know, allergies to food, sensitivities to food, all of these things, you can start to then bring your client back to that. And I just think it just gives you this massive foundation. Even if you just ask those questions, even if you didn't go any further than that, you've got such a great picture of that person and what might be going on for them. And generally, I will know just from asking those questions which direction we're heading in and what they want to achieve, you know? So yeah, so I thought that was really helpful as well. And that was reiterated, like I said, not only by Carlos at his day of discovery, which was in Ecuador, but also by Julie Tibbles in her DOD. So that was really cool. Awesome. Is that
We
helpful?
could try and have that done up and put in the tools section of the portal as well.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Just as a little, yeah, just as a little intake, because we should be at the bare minimum asking those questions.
Well, I know that we already have the survey for the funnel in the Thrive Tribe. So there's
Yeah.
no reason we can't transfer that in a
Right.
different way,
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
frequency aspect of it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Are you running many scans, Fiona? Is that helpful for you?
Yeah, no, it's great. I haven't
Yeah.
been doing a lot yet I'm still trying to get my confidence up. But yeah, no, that's awesome.
And
Thank
what have we
you.
learned about confidence tonight?
Yes.
Do it. No,
Great.
seriously though, like I said, I literally, Beck, do you remember that? We were jumping on a call that night. Neither of us, we both got our subscription that morning. I was hung over. I was actually, because it was in lockdown. So I was like, everybody come over, let's have a party. Um, so I drank mulled wine, sick as a dog, and I put it out on Facebook going, who wants a scan? 60 people later.
Oh
Yep.
no.
Yeah. I was wrecked. And then it come 5 o'clock. So I started at 6 o'clock in the morning and it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Bex messaged me going, we're doing this call. And I'm like, I'm screwed. I'm so hungover. And she's like, have you run the frequency for that?
Yeah.
I was like, no, I didn't even know there was one. I have been too busy running bloody scans for everyone. Anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah. But seriously, and then honestly, I didn't even know how to read them. I just sent people their scans and said, "You deal with it. I don't know how to read it yet. Sorry." And literally they did. They knew. They just intuited it. They looked at it and what
Yeah.
needed to know jumped out at them. So Fiona, do that. Like seriously, just say, "Hey, I'm still learning. There might be some things that I can see in here, but this is what's coming up. What jumps out to you? Because it
And
will."
and the only way you become confident is to actually do the scans. It's like in my other work, I now have had to go back to cold calling. Now I haven't cold called for 100 years. And the feeling like I'm the master procrastinator. I can find everything to do apart from have to do those cold
Oh,
calls.
that's me.
Oh, I hate it. But then eventually when I got into it, the first time for the first probably like hour or two, I was like, ugh. And I was like, I'm not doing that anymore today. But by as you go, I actually just like I don't despise it at all now. And I start to enjoy, like I used to dread even like weeks and weeks ago, like the phone ringing and I'm like, please don't pick up, please don't pick up. Whereas now I'm like, I hope they pick up because I actually want to talk to them. And the only way I've got from there to there is by going through that uncomfortable phase. And I listen, you worry about mucking up, right? I'm going to give it to you about as almost bad as I could have seen it. I've rung this potential client one day and they didn't answer. And I'm like, hey, it's Rebecca from blah, blah, blah. If you could please just give me a call back on. Well, I'd forgotten my phone number because it's a new work number and I actually don't know what it is. So I went 0428 068179 is what I thought it was. Yeah, it wasn't. And they never rang me back. But like how bad's
But
that?
now
Like
you've got an excuse to ring them back and go, hey, I left the wrong number.
exactly.
I know
I'm
you've
like,
been trying to call me,
yeah.
and just in case you have, here's my
A real
real
estate
number.
agent that doesn't even know their own phone number. I'm so sure.
But the reality is people don't love perfect
Yeah.
as well, So
Exactly.
if you go in there as the know-it-all and, I'm going to tell you, people don't resonate with that. It's
No.
like,
Yeah.
well, let's co-create this. You tell me
Yeah.
what you're seeing. I'll tell you what I'm seeing, like seriously treat it like that. And
Yep.
just say, I'm just learning, but you know your own body. You'll be able to tell me by looking at this more than I can, ever tell you,
Exactly.
like even just putting it back on them. It's seriously, it does work. Like it's great. And yeah, it's true. You just got to do it. And luckily, like we were just thrown into the fire. We had no resources. We had no videos to share. We had nothing. But it was kind of good in a way because it made us do it. There was no other way. Like we just had to get on the line and do it with people. And yeah, so I think we're a bit spoiled these days because we've got all the things. But
Were you talking about which scan? Because I wasn't here right at the start. Were you talking about particular scans to do? Just
no,
basic inner voice, or what are you talking about? Sorry.
for which ones? For this that I just did, or
Yeah. So when like you say about scanning them, they want to scan. how do you depict which scan you're doing? You're just doing an inner voice
Depends
to
on what they're
start
paying
with?
for, Karen.
Pardon?
Depends on what they're paying me for. Look, for people, this is another good point, Fiona. If you're running a scan for someone for free, you just do the invoice. Don't go beyond that. It has enough information. It's well enough. Now, if they want a full body scan, then you do your inner voice, your vitals, and your comprehensive. And you can do an easy scan if you want. I tend to do, if they're paying me, I will do a full vitals and a full comprehensive and an invoice. That's the way I do it. But
sorry, what was that? Full body and what?
No, full vitals and full comprehensive and full, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And because you charge differently for each of those, then,
yeah.
you know, depending on what they want.
But if they're paying me, I don't just do an easy scan. I will if I'm going to run this membership thing. I'll just run the multi-scan.
Yes.
So that's multi-scan. But yeah.
Okay.
Because you could email them multi-scans each day. You could load them into that multi-scan and then just email them the result and give them some music for the week or for the month.
That's right. It's the month. It's only a month. Yeah. So it's quite easy. And you don't have to have everyone on the same day of the month. People sign up at different, I mean, it's easy to probably do it all on a Monday or whatever, but, you know, that could be split up amongst, you know. Yeah. So
yeah, but as a membership, she was just basically doing the 3 scans then.
Yeah, Cephii,
easy scan.
Easy scan, well, multi-scan, which runs, and inner voice.
That's such a good idea, isn't it?
Oh, it's brilliant. Bloody brilliant. Simplified. That's what we want. Yeah. Awesome. All right, Beck, do you have anything to share, love?
No, I don't think so. I think, well, the only thing that is probably that the St. Patrick's Day special with the free minerals. I think that's really cool with AO Gut. So,
cool.
Yeah, that's probably the only thing that I'd mention. Pardon?
When's that going till?
17th their time, so the 18th of March.
Okay. When was it running from?
I don't know. It's been on there for a few days.
I did see it because I logged on to look at something. Yeah, that is good. Okay, cool. So you get a free gold.
Yeah.
Gut. Shit, that's awesome. I'll have to get on.
Yeah, that's a pretty good deal. I wish they had that before we just had the Conscious Life Expo. I would have stocked up.
Yeah.
And taken them. We would have sold so many of them.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Awesome. All right, my loves. Well, that's all.
Thank you.
Everyone,
Thanks,
I will stop the recording. You're well.